Fracking for shale gas. It is the most controversial and divisive energy issue since nuclear power. In some parts of the world, it's been banned, while in others, it's providing cheap and reliable energy.
But what do people here in the region think? Well, we've commissioned our own survey for North West Tonight, and the results make interesting reading.
Yes, North West Tonight commissioned a poll. It was carried out by TNS, who over the last month spoke to more than 1,900 adults in the North West. 1,407 of them knew what fracking was.
So we asked those that knew if they were in favour of companies fracking for shale gas here in the North West. Well, just under half were for fracking, and more than a third were against.
When shown a list of some of the fears that have been raised over fracking, 73% said they had some concerns.
Yeah, 44% were worried about the risk of causing earth tremors and 40% about the risk of water pollution.
What about the advantages? Well, when shown a list of potential benefits, 76% could see some advantages from fracking.
Well, nearly half said creating jobs was important to them, and almost as many said it would be important if it led to lower energy costs.
What if there was a sweetener? If communities were given £100,000 to spend on community projects if fracking took place in their area, would that make it more acceptable to them? Well, over a third said yes, but more than half said no.
So fracking is already a hot issue, and it's only going to get hotter. But what's it all about, and why has it divided opinion so sharply? In America and other parts of the world, it's the latest gold rush. Billions of pounds at stake. Energy to burn for generations. But what is fracking? Deep below the surface, small particles of gas are trapped in pockets of rock. By hydraulically fracturing the rock with water, sand and chemicals, gas is forced out onto the surface and used to generate power. The British Geological Survey estimates there could be 1,300 trillion cubic feet of gas trapped in the Boland Shale rocks under much of the north. If only 10% is extracted, we'd be self-sufficient for 40 years.
With its resources under the ground, let's make Blackpool the centre of Europe for the shale gas industry.
There are opponents, though. These at Volcom in Sussex say we should be looking at other energy sources.
Somebody please listen to us!
But it's big business in the northwest. Quadrilla could be sitting on 200 trillion cubic feet of shale gas in Lancashire.
So it is hugely exciting. We're certainly excited about it.
iGas, with licences in Cheshire and Greater Manchester, up to 172 trillion cubic feet. The companies are only exploring at the moment. We know gas is there. What we don't know yet is how easy it'll be to extract.
Well, the latest focus in the fight over fracking is a site at Barton Moss in Salford. Protesters there have been camped out for about 2 weeks as exploratory drilling gets underway.
Our environment correspondent Judy Hobson is at the site for us now. Judy, there is activity behind you, but drilling hasn't actually started yet at the site.
No, it hasn't. Yes, there's a drill of sorts behind me. What that is doing is laying the foundations for the drill to start properly, which should happen in the next few weeks. Now, iGas say they've no intentions to start fracking here at the moment. They are, as you say, going to explore, see what exactly is under the ground. But it is controversial. As you say, there is a protest camp outside. As we drove in here today, 20 tents are still on the road as you actually drive to the site here. Now, there are lots of questions that people want answering about this subject. So I've been around the region asking people what are their main concerns, and I've taken those concerns to an expert, an independent expert at Durham University, to see if we can get some answers. And I started by asking people just down the road from here in Eccles what they wanted to know.
Tell the public, why do you have to do fracking?
I'd like to know, will it bring our bills down?
Most of the experts that I've spoken to don't foresee it having a major impact on people's bills.
Does this cause earthquakes?
Does fracking cause earthquakes? A very good question, and we know that it can. There's been examples in Canada and in America, and we know this happened in Lancashire in 2011. 3 places it's happened, out of hundreds of thousands of fracking operations. So the chances of a felt earthquake are quite small, you've got probably a bigger chance of feeling an earthquake due to mining or due to some other industrial process.
I'd like to know what effect it has on the drinking water and if that affects any animals.
Fracking itself, which is the process of cracking rock underground, doesn't cause water contamination. But all the other processes of bringing chemicals to a site or even wells leaking could cause water contamination. There are examples of this in the United States. So the UK needs strong regulation, and it needs companies that follow those regulations.
My main concern is the amount of extra traffic that there might be on the roads.
Fracking requires a large volume of water to be used in the fracking operation. Somewhere between 2 and 16 Olympic swimming pools of water needs to be brought to the site. Obviously that needs a lot of trucks, possibly many tens of trucks, possibly a few hundred trucks. This process of doing the fracturing will take place over a few weeks, so the truck traffic could be quite intense for a few weeks.
Would there be any insurance cover if our house suffers any damage due to fracking?
Incredibly unlikely for houses to be damaged by fracking. In the UK we've had coal mining, and we know that that can cause subsidence where houses can start to crack. But due to fracking, I think the chances are so low I would just take that off the list of concerns.
I'd like to know just exactly how much research has been done into the safety of fracking.
The Americans have been doing this fracking quite intensively for the last 20 years, so there's a lot of data. But surprisingly little has been put together in order to understand some of the issues that your viewers have raised. So there is more research to be done, and even more important, we need to do a much better job of making sure people understand what we do know about the science.
Well, John Blamires is from iGas. John, the results of our survey then, 44% in favour, just over a third were against, a quarter of people still don't know. What do you think about that? Are you winning the PR battle, do you think?
I think that's encouraging. What we found when we talk to local communities, people we engage with at our public days, at our drop-in surgery, they're concerned about the unknown, and so they want the facts explained to them, they want to understand it, and they want to form their own opinions. And that's about giving them the factual evidence upon which they can then base their thoughts, and hopefully in that way will allay their fears about some of the more emotive statements that are made about this business.
But a lot of people's fears haven't been allayed. 3/4 of people are still concerned, and they're worried about the same things. It's water contamination, it's earthquakes. You and the industry, are you not properly addressing these issues?
Well, obviously we're trying to engage with the public, with the local communities that we work in. I mean, for instance, you mentioned water, and obviously people are concerned about that. One of the things we're doing is we're working with Water UK, which represents the water industries, and looking at how we can work together. And they've come out and are talking about issuing a report that says, provided fracking is properly regulated and overseen, it can be done safely and environmentally responsibly without impacting the water.
But obviously, you need to still get that message across. There are protesters who lay in front of the rig as it was trying to be actually brought here. Our independent expert said the issue really is when you get up and leave, if you do start fracking here, who looks after that well? You just plug it up with a bit of concrete. Is that going to be safe?
Well, first and foremost, it's regulated. We have to do that in accordance with a number of standard guidelines that are issued and overseen by the Health and Safety Executive, the Environment Agency, etc.
You're going to do that, but what if you no longer exist in 30
Well,
years?
first of all, that is covered by the licensing regime. So whoever the operator is that has the license is responsible for the wells that are here. So that will be safeguarded. And that's paramount. Again, it's important that people understand the industry will take care of that and oversee that and provide the appropriate monitoring to ensure that things are done safely.
You're investing a lot in this. There might not be any industry, though. Is that a possibility?
Well, that is a possibility. That's why this is an exploration well, to understand what is here. Having said that, the British Geological Survey and our own investigations suggest that there is potentially a very large resource in the north of England. And that represents a security of supply in terms of energy. It represents jobs, employment for the region, and it's something that I think we have to investigate on behalf of the nation.
John Blamires, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to have more pieces on fracking throughout the rest of the week here on North West Tonight. And tomorrow I'm going to be in one community in Lancashire which could have fracking on their doorstep.
Judy, thank you very much. Judy Hobson for us live in Irlam. Lots of issues to be discussed, and as Judy said, we'll be looking at them all week.